Welcome, Steeler Nation, and welcome to your Steeler Nation Vidcast, part of the Big Play Network, sponsored by Total Sports Enterprises. I'm your host, G.Stryker, and we are full bore into the NFL tampering period. Big names getting traded, big names getting cut, big names getting signed. So what's the quarterback situation now? I mean, heck, we've been talking about picking up Aaron Rodgers. We've been talking about picking up Carson Wentz, picking up Russell Wilson. But now Aaron Rodgers re-signed the largest contract in NFL history, giving that old man 4 years, $200 million, $150 plus, guaranteed. He has to stay healthy. If he takes a bad injury, my gosh, is that going to be an albatross? But kudos to him for playing that, well, I don't know if I'm going to be here in Green Bay anymore card, because he used the Pittsburgh Steelers. He used the Tennessee Titans. He used the Denver Broncos to give himself the highest contract ever in NFL history, and that will create ripples across the rest of the NFL for signing their quarterbacks, because as of now, the industry standard is now $50 million a year. Insane. So next thing was the biggest trade ever so far this offseason. Denver giving away the house, giving up great players like Noah Fant and all of their draft picks to essentially pick up Russell Wilson, who was an incredible quarterback. But they've got to keep up with the rest of the division. They easily were behind the eight ball in their entire division. Looking around, who's in their division? Mahomes, Carr, Herbert. That is a team where they had the worst quarterback in the division until now. Making that trade means they can now compete with those guys, because Russell Wilson is a hell of a competitor. He's an intelligent quarterback, and he will instantly make Denver's team a contender this season. Be really exciting to watch AFC West football this year. Next on the block, Carson Wentz getting traded to the Washington giving up draft picks and picking up the entire salary of Carson Wentz. That's a big salary, $28 million a year. Next 2 seasons made it so essentially the Colts now have the largest cap space in all of free agency now. $70 million to play with now. They can re-sign whoever they want and sign whoever they want. So it's going to be really interesting to see who they're going to shell out for. But their MO is usually to pick up a quarterback that's already established in the league and trade for him. And now they can. They're back to square one. They got some extra draft picks from Washington. Will they be the team that picks up a guy like Jimmy G? A guy like, Watson, Deshaun Watson maybe. If they want to compete, that's the kind of move they have to make. Maybe a David Carr, but I don't know how they get rid of David Carr without having another quarterback in place to compete in that division. That would be a tough one there for Vegas. So speaking of David Carr, he's still on the block. Matt Ryan's still on the block. Kirk Cousins and Deshaun Watson, I'm rolling them out. I mean, Steeler Nation, we're talking about Deshaun Watson coming to the Steelers. $35 million locked in this season. That's guaranteed. $37 million locked in next season, guaranteed, before 2 years following $32 million and $32 million. Too much money. Steelers always get thrown around because it is too much money for them to handle. That's their whole cap. That is all of their cap on one guy. And I don't think the Steelers are one player away from making it back to the Super Bowl, making it back to the playoffs, to tell you the truth. Go to kind of cheap on quarterback this year, develop that talent underneath, bring in the better players here on the offensive line, cornerback, wide receiver, defensive line, maybe some inside linebacker depth, some outside linebacker depth, and a strong safety. Mix them all up for this year. Next year, go out and get our quarterback. That'd be fine. I'd be absolutely fine with that. And it also looks like Kyler Murray's going to be staying in Phoenix. So he just put all of his pictures back up of his girlfriend. Good old Phoenix Cardinals. Your pictures are back up. Relationships back on. Everything's all happy and hunky-dory back in Phoenixville. So good luck to you out there in Arizona with having your quarterback coming back, because he's a hell of a talent. Unlike Jimmy G. I mean, we're talking about Jimmy G too. I'm still not on the Jimmy G train just because he had to take – we're going from a quarterback that had elbow surgery and showed that he fell off the cliff 2 seasons in a row at the end of the season after week 10. Couldn't compete anymore, Ben. Ben did all he could, but he could not compete after week 12, essentially, both years. Now we got to worry about Jimmy G coming back with a reconstructed throwing shoulder. Sorry, I don't want to be part of that plan. I don't. I'd rather take a flyer on somebody else. But we can talk about some big trades going on right now. I'm going to check out how you're doing, Steeler Nation, because this is your show. I'm here for you guys. I always love the conversation. Emil Scales back again. What's up, Steeler Nation? What's up, Emil? Good to hear from you, man. You got any questions? Fire away, man, because this is what we do. We talk Steelers because we have a problem. That's a black and gold problem, and we'll take care of it. Michael Scott Joyner, how you doing, my friend? Good to hear from you again. Good we didn't give up 2 1s, 2 2s, and a 5th, plus players for Wilson. Denver overpaid. I agree. I agree completely, especially with a team like us that's rebuilding. Number 1, we can't afford to give up players. Number 2, we can't afford to give up draft picks because we need those draft picks to fill these holes. We got 7 picks coming up, depending on if not we trade back or not, but can't trade out of the first round. We are never trading out of the first round ever. The reason why, Steeler Nation, is because those first round picks carry that 5th-year option, and that locks in those players for an extra year. And that is very, very important for drafting strategy. I know we didn't have it that one year when we ended up giving up our first year to pick up Minkah Fitzpatrick, but we got to pick up his 5th-year option, and that's what we're negotiating on this year. We negotiated T.J. Watt last year. Instead of playing for his 5th-year option, he got a new contract, highest paid defensive player in the NFL. Now we're going to be working out Minkah Fitzpatrick's contract, and we should be getting in some space, too, from that 5th-year option once we finalize that contract, just like I said we would with the T.J. Watt contract, and we did. Who else is over here on Steeler Nation? Ernest! Thumbs down. Wah, wah. I'm sorry you're upset about something, probably from picking up one of the quarterbacks. We hear you. We hear you. I don't always get to you instantaneously, but I will get to you. Anthony Tony! How you been, Anthony? Man, it's been too long, my friend. OG Anthony Laird coming in from Facebook. Glad I'm able to catch him. Me too, Anthony. Because, my weeks have been weird. I'm sorry, Steeler Nation. I've been off the last 2 weeks. I was helping my brother. He had to move. It was last minute. He's lost his wife. And the whole family's been coming together to help him out. So it's been tough times for the family, but that's what we do. Steeler Nation, we know. Problems happen with the family. We take care of family. And we're taking care of them. But I'm back again next week for Vidcast. Probably going to do it again on Wednesday. Because Tuesday, I can do it on Tuesday, but the start of free agency is Wednesday. I think it'll be more fun of a show. We can all get riled up. For real, not just for the tampering period. Tampering sounds so naughty, like something like Deshaun Watson would get in trouble for. Joe Leone, how you doing? Jimmy G is worth 2 4th-rounders. Well, actually, I did like that trade initially when I heard it, Joe, and I did agree. He's worth 2 4th-rounders, around that. But now with that shoulder surgery, he's worth less. He's worth less than 2 4th-rounders because that trade option came out before his shoulder problem, before he went under the knife. So if they want to get rid of him, it's probably going to be for a little less capital now. Anthony! Way too many options to go with Jimmy G. Yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a Jimmy G guy personally. I know some of you guys are. That's fine. But I don't think the Steelers are going to give up any draft picks for a quarterback. We're not moving up in the draft to grab a quarterback this year. We're not giving up draft picks to pick up a quarterback that's already on a roster. I've said it. We need to rebuild. We need the draft picks. Never say never, but never. Thanks, Coach Tomlin. That's one of my favorite quotes from you. Again, Anthony, what do you see our first-round pick being? It's up in the air, Anthony. It's up in the air, man. But I can rattle off a couple names. I like that center from Iowa. I like the, I'm really starting to get on the Malik train. And I'll tell you why. And this is a good spot to do it. If Malik is there as a quarterback available in our first-round pick, number 20, I fully believe the Pittsburgh Steelers will take him over anybody else in the draft. The reason why, I've been looking at all of these like really athletic players that are young in the league that the Steeler fans really wanted to get. Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson. Even look at Lamar Jackson, who won an MVP. It's these young, athletic, mobile quarterbacks that can kill you with their feet. And we have a chance to get one in the first round. To me, that's kind of a no-brainer now. Like, I'm really on the Malik Willis train now. And it really just happened today while I was reading tweets. I wouldn't mind getting an inside linebacker that drops. I know a bunch of people in Steeler Nation were writing articles all over the place. Go to SteelerNation.com, guys. Our writers are more on this than I am. I read the articles, but don't have them up right now. But they were just rattling off with everything else going on free agency. I could only follow so much, which we are going to get to. But this is the kind of stuff that really interests me. But I'm all there. If we can find a quarterback, an edge corner that's a stud, that's a chance at that one pick too, Anthony. Strong safety that's a stud, that's a chance at that pick too, Anthony. Or just maybe a wide receiver. Something the Steelers always covet, an athletic wide receiver. If one is there that's a monster, that's above their metrics, they will take them. And nobody drafts wide receivers like Steelers. Now, we have to see if these wide receivers were good because they had Ben Roethlisberger, which I'm going to write an article on, or if it's because of the Steelers. But that's a question for another show. Keep them coming. Michael Hall, how you been, Michael? Good to hear from you, man. Mr. Hall again. Should we think about Wagner or not? Yeah, we definitely should. He's a hell of an inside linebacker talent. He's all world. Steelers are the linebacker factory of the NFL. Why the hell wouldn't we bring in one of the greatest all-time inside linebackers to go up with our all-time great inside linebackers like the Hams and the Timmons and the Captain Kirkland, Levon Kirkland, Potsy coming over from the Jets. We've just had excellent inside linebackers throughout our history. Osavsky, too, now the coach. But, yeah, we got to look into it. My only problem is his cost. If we – and thinking of the position versus cost, because we technically already do have two starters at inside linebacker and a good backup. We already have Bush and we already have Schobert. Yeah, we can cut Schobert, save $8 million, and pick up Wagner. That would be, no matter what, if we picked up Wagner, we're cutting Schobert. No two ways about it. That's going to happen. And that would free up the space to allow us to do it. But we still have Spillane behind him, too. And I like Spillane as a backup. I want to see what UG3 does this year. This is his year. If he's not doing anything this year, he and Marcus Allen. That's it. Those guys are wastes. Can't have them on the team anymore if they cannot contribute this year. So there's a lot of variables with picking up an inside linebacker. I think it's a lower priority than, say, strong safety, wide receiver, offensive lineman, defensive end, because we don't know if Tuitt's coming back. Strong safety, outside corner. We've got some needs, man. More needs than inside linebacker, in my opinion, even though Steeler Nation is not happiest with inside linebacker. But you will see, if Tyson Alualu and Tuitt come back, our inside linebackers are not going to be a problem no matter who they are next season. Be a big change. Ernest! Smiley face, thank you! Thank you, Ernest. I love people that communicate with emojis. Now we're on the same page. Happy to know. Michael, prayers up to you. Oh, thank you, Michael. I appreciate that so much, man. We've been dealing with this since Thanksgiving. I know I've been going through it, mentioning it off and on. I know I wrote about it at SteelerNation.com on the general discussion forum, exactly the details. I don't want to get into them now, but I really appreciate that. And any death, you've got to rally around the family, especially when it's unexpected and they're young. That's always hits the hardest. Always hits the hardest. Anthony, big E to help him out. But then again, you are a great dude. Thank you. Thank you, man. I appreciate you too, Anthony, as always. Tony, good to hear from you, my friend. Emil, man, I think Mason can get us there. If he got a good arm, just saying, he knows the system. I tell you, they may not be getting a quarterback. 100%. 100%. Emil, I'm down with you at that too. We are going to pick up no matter what. We only have two quarterbacks technically one, but we are going to extend the tender to Haskins. That's a no-brainer because of the value of getting a first-round draft pick for an original round tender. Very cheap. Gives us a high option in case somebody wants to sign him. I'd take the first-round draft pick, no-brainer. But still being able to get Haskins into the mix. We only have 2 guys. Steelers always going to camp with 4 because you don't want to wear them out. You don't want to wear out your quarterbacks. You don't want to wear out your receiver. I know we're competing, but there's going to be 3 guys rotating to compete. And I don't know if it's going to be a free agent we're going to bring in, a drafted quarterback, or both. Or an undrafted rookie free agent. If we don't draft throughout the whole draft and we will pick up an undrafted rookie free agent or a basement cut or a basement free agent just to come in to try out. That's just going to be the way it is. Hell, I'm fine with bringing Rivers back. The old, not Phillip Rivers, the old Roland Rivers, guy from Slippery Rock. He was our rookie minicamp quarterback last year. I'd be fine for bringing Rivers back into training camp if nobody else brings out. He's an athletic, hell of an athletic guy too. So we got options. Got some options. Let's go! Kenny Beamer in the house! How you doing, Kenny? Always good to hear from you. Yeah. What are you, pirate? You a pirate? Yarr, Striker. Arr. We got to get ourselves some free agents. Arr. For sure, I hope the Willis plan pans out. And I do too. Yeah, this is gonna be a crazy draft because there's a lot of talent in it. No matter what, if Steelers stand pat at 20, we're getting an awesome player. No 2 ways about it. We're getting a guy that's going to contribute next year, and that's what I'm happiest about. And even if we move back, we're still going to get a good player. So we'll see how it works out. Michael Hall, Kenny Pickett, 2nd round pick maybe. Yeah, if Kenny's there in the 2nd round, I take tiny hands Kenny. Here, I take Kenny. Hi guys, I'm Kenny Pickett. I can throw a football really far, but I got tiny hands. It's okay. I'm 6'4", and my hands are 1 inch smaller than Stryker's, but it's okay. He can throw a football farther than me, I'll tell you that. He's more accurate than I am, too. But I got bigger hands. I got bigger hands than Kenny Pickett. Well, we'll see. But yes, 2nd round, definitely. I would not let him slip by me. That is, if I didn't already draft Malik Willis. If I already drafted Malik Willis, I'm not taking 2 quarterbacks. Just not. It wouldn't be worth it. Washington did the 1 year when they drafted RG3 in the 1st round. Later, they drafted Kirk Cousins. 2 great quarterbacks. I mean, it was their fault they ruined RG3's knee. That guy was the most accurate quarterback ever for a rookie, beating out Ben Roethlisberger's completion percentage his 1st year until he blew out his knee because the coach sent him back out there after he was already banged up. That's their own fault. And that is why Washington whatevers are a dumpster fire. Absolute dumpster fire. I live in the area. I work with them. I talk to their marketing department that rotates every other year because they can't stand to work with the people there. Hey, it is what it is. It's a poop hole. I agree about Willis. If he falls, grab him. Yep, I am too. I love Willis. Devontae Adams for Steelers. Now, Devontae Adams, that's an interesting one because he's a hell of a player, but with Rodgers staying in Green Bay, I'd have to think that he'd be staying too, if that's the same player that we're talking about, if that's the wide receiver. That's just the way I'd see it. Anthony Laird, when's the last time we went 1st round wide receiver? Oh, I remember moving up in the draft for Santonio Holmes off the top of my head. That was not 05 draft. I know we won a Super Bowl with him in 08. 05 we drafted Heath Miller last because we won the Super Bowl that year. So I think it was either 06 or 07, just going off the top of my head, when we moved up to grab Santonio Holmes in the 1st round. And that was one of the other times we moved up in the draft. The only one that hasn't panned out for us moving up in the 1st so far is Devin Bush. But this is his last year to prove it. Show us. Show us what you're starting to show us your rookie season, Devin Bush, because I know you can play that way. I do. Janelle, Cameron Angle. Totally agree on Malik. Yeah, we got a lot of... I like hearing this. I like you guys are all into Malik also. He looks like he's going to be a good player. Michael, I love love the Flores signing. I am surprised he is not a coach in this league. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. He should be a head coach in the league. I know he had that lawsuit that kind of pulls people back and front offices back when you throw out a lawsuit. But Tomlin's a front-up guy. Steelers are an up-front organization. Heck, we invented the Rooney Rule. We take it seriously. We actually bring in candidates and listen to them. We have a lot of minority candidates so far that have come in for the GM hire. Multiple, like 5 of them. So it'll be really interesting. We're doing our due diligence in that GM hire as well. So I love that. Take our time, hire the best guy for the job. And somebody that'll work well with Tomlin and with owner Rooney. That's the most important stuff. But I absolutely love the Flores signing. I think, and I'll tell you exactly, one thing that we're going to see better than anything else that has happened since we've had Tomlin as our coach, I believe that our challenges are going to be awesome this year. Because one of two things are going to happen. Either Tomlin allows Austin and Flores to call the plays so he can concentrate on game management, or he still continues to call the plays and we have Flores concentrating on game management, or Tomlin is still going around talking to all the players, has Austin call on the defense, Canada call on the offense, Flores worrying about the game management, calling those plays. Either way, it's the best situation possible for an intelligent person in our room, helping out our defense, helping to fix out the problems, helping to make those halftime adjustments. All for it. I think it was the best hire of this offseason. And to get him is just a coup. And plus, he's only going to be like a 1 or 2 year rental guy. We know he's going to go off and be either a defensive coordinator or a head coach somewhere else. And that means 2 extra third-round draft picks to the Steelers when he gets signed with another team. All for it. Absolutely all for it. Janelle back again. Najee Harris proved his worth this season. I was told by a friend on draft night Najee would make an immediate impact, and he did. Yeah. That's why you have to go with your eyes, your gut over all these prognosticators too, Janelle, saying, oh, you can't draft a running back in the first round. Oh, that's stupid. Nobody ever does it. Oh, that's dumb. All the Kuipers and McShays of the world. The problem is you're never going to find a back as durable, as athletic, and as sure-handed as Najee Harris in any other round but the first round. Not only was he the best running back prospect last year, he's still better than any of the prospects this year. He's that good. And we got our guy last year, and he's already made a Pro Bowl. So you're 100% right, Janelle. Your friend is 100% right. Steeler Nation has nothing to be excited about because this is the guy we're going to run our offense behind. Doesn't matter who our quarterback is next year. Our quarterback's going to be a new quarterback, no matter who it is. But it is a Najee Harris offense. It was a Najee Harris offense this year. Look at how many catches he got. Rookie record. He set the rookie record for catches. Set the rookie record for yardage. Receiving yard for rushing yardage. Not receiving yardage. For rushing yardage. And behind that line, making the Pro Bowl, which he deserved to make. Sky's the limit. He's going to have more touchdowns next year. He's going to have a better line blocking for him next year. And hopefully a compliment quarterback to help him with that read option. Because that is where we're going to excel next season in our Najee Harris offense. Tony, back again. Who would like to see as the new GM who fits the role? Well, Omar Khan's been in the system. I know we had the other guy, the other head scout that's in our system too. I'm a little partial, though, to Riddick, just because I know him. We got to interview him here on the show. He's a great guy. He was the director of pro personnel for both Washington and Philly. The guy isn't just a broadcaster, and he knows the scouting department. He's always been on the scouting side in football. Would be an interesting hire, but no matter who we get, I'm going to be happy with it, to tell you the truth, because I know, just like head coach, the Steelers take their time when they're trying to find the next person to run the ship, because Steelers have almost had as many GMs as they have head coaches in the Super Bowl era. We have 3 head coaches in the Super Bowl era. How many GMs do we have, Steelers? 5. 5 in the Super Bowl era. And one of them ended up leaving to become our vice president and eventual president of the Steelers, Dan Rooney. So 4. That's the amazing aspect of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They don't knee-jerk react to anything. They stay the course. They take their time, and they make the right decisions, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Michael Hall, Steelers for next year. Yeah, it's Stryker for that. I'm not. No. No. I appreciate it, Michael, but I am not qualified to be Steelers next year. What I am qualified to do is some metrics for them, maybe a little analytics, maybe game management on game day. That I would be very good at because I am very quick seeing plays, understanding body mechanics, understanding physics in general to be able to determine whether or not to throw a flag, whether or not there's 12 men on a field. These are all the things you have to watch out for every play. These are the things I'm good at. I'm very good at those things. But I still don't have a pedigree for that, and I don't have experience other than watching a butt ton of Steeler games. Michael Scott Joyner, how you doing, man? Good to hear from you. Who would be the best free agent receiver to pick up? Well, we've got some options. I do like Goodwin. Goodwin's going to be a cheap option, and he'd be better than Washington in that 4th wide receiver stretching the field role. He's fast as nuts. He has like all these touchdowns over 20 yards. Ton of them. The guy stretches the field, and if we bring him in 4 wide receiver sets, look out. Or 3 wide receiver sets if we're going that route. And he has played a little slot, but I wouldn't want a 6'4" guy in the slot. He'd be my number 1 guy. On the lower end, I'm all for bringing in Cedric Wilson's son to help get us back to the Super Bowl like his dad did and help us win one. If we can work him in the slot or something. I like a slot player, and we have to talk about our own free agents too. Juju, Ray, and Wash. Those are all free agents as well. I mean, I'd love to bring back Juju, but not for a price point any higher than 10. Ray may be coming back, and that would be good to keep unity and consistency in the locker room, and I like him as a small slot return capable. Other than that, sky's the limit. Bring somebody else in. Heck, I'd even bring Landry in. I think Landry might be available too. And I would like him as a slot option to play with DJ. That would be a really neat option. I think Emmanuel Sanders is available as well. If any of those guys are older and willing to play the slot, I bring them in. Jason Purdy, what do you think? Who do you think will step up to fill the leadership hole that Ben leaves? Right now, Najee. Najee is going to be. He's already shown me excellent leadership qualities this season, and it's going to be his offense next year. No matter who's running it. I like Mason's swagger. He's a swagger guy. I don't know about Haskins yet because the team did rally around him when he was playing in Washington, but then he fell apart when the coach pulled him, and then he's just like, screw you guys. I'm not going to do anything for you guys anymore. And that's tough. I mean, he's a young kid, brought in, 15th player in the draft, expecting to be given the reins, and he wasn't even given a chance. Hell, when he was drafted, half of the front office didn't want him. The coaching staff didn't want him. Just the GM wanted him. That created a rift. And unfortunately, Haskins took the brunt of that rift. So, but I would love to see what he can do. But usually it's your quarterback. On defense, it's going to be TJ and Cam. Those guys are our leaders. And they're going to be there forever to be our leaders until they're not Steelers anymore because they're not going to play anywhere else but. Riddick, yeah, man, love that dude. I know. I'm definitely a Riddick fan. Ernest Schuster. I have this feeling that Mason is going to be our guy. What do you think? I think that can happen. I think that that's definitely possible, Ernest. I mean, especially if we really don't pick up, like, if we pick up somebody like Mariota or Bridgewater or even Winston and the other guy, Brissett. They're still competing with Mason and Haskins. Haskins, I think, has the most ability out of all of them. He has the highest pedigree, strongest arm, most talent. But does he have it between the ears? It looks like Mason Rudolph has it between the ears. unless he's getting hit in the top of the head with his own helmet by Myles Garrett. Then the only thing he's taken between the ears is his own helmet. But other than that and his concussions, I do like his swagger. And especially if he's picking it up this year to be the team, then yes, that's it. Keep coming in with your questions, guys. I'm going to get to what I wanted to talk about now, which is the big trade that happened today. Big trade, which is now going to rewrite the entire... Sorry, there you go. Had to release that. Rewrite the entirety of what's going on right now in AFC football, and that is Khalil Mack going from Chicago to the Chargers. Now this is how you counteract that Wilson trade in Denver. This is how you compete in that division against Carr, Wilson, Mahomes. You get yourself two stud pass rushers, Bosa and Mack. Both of them are unblockable one-on-one. Both of them. That's a scary, scary combo for any offensive line to have to figure out how to stop, to pick their poison, and keep their quarterbacks upright. And they have their quarterback in their own right in Herbert, who's good enough to win games, and who was just that hair away from beating Vegas last year. I think this trade alone already launches them ahead of the Raiders, ahead of Denver, because Denver's offensive line is still not 100%. Chargers have a much better offensive line. Chargers probably have the best offensive line in that division right now, because Kansas City's still trying to rebuild theirs. Look out, rest of the quarterbacks going up against the Chargers. I don't want to do that. I don't want our new quarterback going up against the Chargers at all this year. But it's going to be interesting to watch. Also, I heard that offensive tackle La'el Collins in Dallas is on the trade block. Is Pittsburgh one of these guys? I don't know. He's a guy that's been a little banged up over the years. Would be interesting to see if he's the type of player that the Steelers would bring in. Cuts around the league as well. I hear we've got Rodgers Saffold getting cut. Offensive guard from Tennessee. Great player. I'd bring him in a heartbeat. Trey Reader, a more affordable inside linebacker from the Rams. Trey Flowers, defensive end, edge rush from Detroit. Landon Collins, strong safety getting cut from the Washington whatevers. That's a guy I'd like to have more than Edmonds. And hell, I mean, this is a guy that was a two-time Pro Bowler, made the All-Pro once too, with the Giants before he came over on that big contract to Washington. Has good metrics. Washington is a dumpster fire, guys. But he sucked in Washington. Guy still has more TFLs, still has more sacks than Edmonds. This is a guy I'd want to bring in. Because he's playing in Washington didn't know where to play him. Is he going to be a strong safety? Is he going to be a money backer? We're going to throw him down in the box. We're going to throw him an inside linebacker. He was moved all over the place last year. You keep him at strong safety, the guy's a monster. Especially if he's playing next to Minkah Fitzpatrick. And hell, Steeler Nation. Remember the last time we brought in a Washington player for safety to play alongside our stud safety that we picked up ourselves in Troy Polamalu? When we brought in Ryan Clark to play next to him, I'd think that Landon Collins could be the Batman to Fitzpatrick's Robin, or the Robin to Fitzpatrick's Batman. That would be awesome to see. Jordan Hicks, linebacker out of Arizona, also getting dumped. Sounds like Jason Kelce is going to be sticking around in Philly, so no chance of getting that very, very talented center inside lineman from the Eagles. It sounds like he's staying put. Now, there's some free agents out there that I like. I know we started talking about the quarterbacks a bit with Wilson, Bridgewater, Mariota, and Brissett. That's pretty much the order that I'd want them, except a little bit different. Wilson's my number one, especially if he's back from that knee. I think he's the best quarterback of the bunch as a free agent. Bridgewater's probably the safest because he has the highest floor. He's making smarter decisions. He can run an efficient offense, and he can be that quarterback with a heavy running attack with Najee Harris. That fits his his style of play very well. But so does the athleticism of Brissett and Mariota. I like Brissett more than Mariota because he's only 1 year removed as opposed to 2 years removed. Mariota, I'm just not sold on. I'm just not. Brissett can play. Brissett showed he's a winner in this league. Mariota showed that Ryan Tannehill's a better quarterback than he is in his own offense. That's what he showed. That's what I'm not happy about Mariota. If we bring Mariota in, he is no better than who we currently have on our roster. He's not. Brissett gives you slight upside. Bridgewater's about the same as well. Wilson could be the highest in that bunch. And that, at least all of these options, we are not giving up a draft pick for any of them. So I highly expect the Steelers to bring in one of those guys in the next week or two. We'll have to see. Should be the context or the big conversation for another show. Another guy I would love to have, a guy that's a cheaper option at inside linebacker, Steeler Nation, a guy we don't have to give up a draft pick for, a guy the Steelers almost moved up to draft in the first round. Leighton Vander Esch was a monster his rookie season. All-Pro first team, Pro Bowl, making plays everywhere, playing with his hair on fire, absolute monster. I take Leighton Vander Esch. Yeah, he's years 2 and 3, he was banged up, but he was healthy all last year. Still was limited in his snaps, but I'd bring that guy in. That's a guy I think that can instantly make our defense better. And hell, if we brought in a Vander Esch, we could cut Schobert and save that $8 million. But I'm still fine keeping Schobert in the mix because I don't think Vander Esch is going to cost much. $3 to $5 million range, maybe 6, pushing 8. But honestly, I see him being like more $3 to $5 million range for a guy with that kind of talent, that kind of upside that can defend the pass as well as read and hit the plays downhill. I take Vander Esch in a heartbeat. Love that guy. Carlton Davis. A lot of us are talking about that too. Tampa Bay is going to let him go. He's an option. The New England corners as well, but they're going to be high money guys. Jackson's going to be like $24 million a year. I just can't see us paying that. I just can't. Bobby Wagner, we talked about. He's an option, but he's an expensive option. I don't know if we want to tie up that much money at inside linebacker when we already have options at inside linebacker and money tied up there. If we have a hole, yes, I'm all for bringing in a guy and throwing money at it. There technically is not a hole at inside linebacker. We're 3 deep. We're 3 deep with 2 prospects and still could bring in a cost-effective option. That's better than like bringing in an Avery Williamson. I mean, we got a lot of cost-effective options now to look at. Let's go back to you, Steeler Nation. You got more questions, comments for me? Michael Hall, what do you got? You got sounding off over there. If only the NFL could move from 53 players on a roster to about 60 or 65, we would be all over the current free agent list. But then again, I'd be asking too much. Yes, but it also would affect the salary cap because the salary cap gets capped at 51, rule of 51, which I believe is the amount of players you go active with during a game. It's somewhere around there. I don't know. I got to figure out my numbers again. Don't we 53-man, 62-man rosters? I can't recall. I'm getting a brain fart right now. I should know this stuff right off the top of my head. But yeah, when we go with the rosters, that's why the rule of 51 exists. We'd have to change it slightly. But I'm all for maybe a rule of 53. You can dress a third quarterback and it wouldn't count against you, and you can bring him in and out whenever you want. That would make a third quarterback now be your placeholder. Being able to do trick plays on special teams. That's what I want to see again. That's exciting. That kind of stuff can work, especially if there's a botched play. You don't want some guy who's never thrown the ball trying to throw a ball after a botched snap. I want to see a quarterback in there picking it up, like Charlie Batch. Remember when we had Charlie Batch back there doing the place holding? That's what we do. Michael Hall, AFC West is looking scary this year. Last year or two was the AFC North looking scary. Yeah. Unfortunately, we played them all last year. Wasn't it last year? Yeah, we played that division this last year. We don't have to see them the entirety of that division for another 2 years. Yep, because we're rotating through. I'm much happier because now we're going to be playing, I think, the East this year and then the South and then back to the West. I think it rotates clockwise, Northeast, Southwest, when I was doing it initially. But more power for it. Let them beat the crap out of each other. Let's see how they like it for once. Because the Steelers have always been in the division that beats the crap out of each other before heading into the playoffs. Because we always had to play the Ravens twice. We always had to play the Bengals twice. And hell, they were good. They were good when they had Lewis as their coach. And they had Dalton slinging the ball everywhere looking great. They were perennial playoff team. Sure, they weren't winning the playoffs, but they were a perennial playoff team. And now they're a scary team. Good again. Cleveland, once every 20 years, they figure out how to make a playoff. That's about it. On paper, though. On paper, last year, they were the most talented team in the division by a mile. Better offensive line, better defensive line, better defense in general. Skilled players out the butt. Mason Rudolph. And that's one of the things, too, I want to talk and get your opinion on, too. Steeler Nation, because now, with Aaron Rodgers getting that $50 million a year contract, he has set the market for what it is to be a quarterback in the NFL. Now we have Lamar Jackson. Now we have Baker Mayfield. Two quarterbacks in our division playing on their fifth-year option, where T.J. Watt had a hold-in on his fifth-year option. He was expecting a new contract. He got it. Baker Mayfield, he might want that fifth-year. He might want a new contract. I don't think they're going to give it to him. He might want it, though. But the problem is, it's a guaranteed contract. The contract money is guaranteed. You can't not do a thing about it. If you want to hold out, the money's guaranteed. I don't think it would even return the amounts for its holding out because that's the way it's written. It's guaranteed, just like a franchise tag. Guaranteed money. Well, it's different than franchise tag because you're guaranteed because even if you're injured. Yeah, this is weird. This is weird stuff. But Lamar Jackson, a guy that's already won an MVP, a guy coming back in after a big injury, being I know he's his own agent, but even he's $50 million. That sounds kind of good. I mean, I'm on the hook for 21 this year. Do I really want to waste myself for 21 million? Because it's now time to see how sold these teams are to these quarterbacks. Is Baltimore going to be okay, you're our guy. We're going to bank up the Brinks truck 40 to 45 mil a year for you. I want 50. We'll talk about it. But that's what it's going to take. That's kind of like what happened when Flacco won the Super Bowl. And then they backed up the Brinks truck. Oh my gosh, you see 11 touchdowns, no interceptions. Back up the Brinks truck, throw all the money at Flacco, and he tied to them for the next 6 years, and they didn't sniff a Super Bowl. Now, Lamar Jackson, next man up. He is the offense. I mean, he's exciting as hell. They were winning games they should have lost last year with Lamar as their quarterback. He is a difference maker in Baltimore. He really is. But is he the quarterback that they think that they can win in the playoffs with? I don't know. That's when you get weird assessments. He's never won in the playoffs. He can't win in the playoffs. Now, that's faulty logic. He hasn't won it in the playoffs. Does not mean he can't win in the playoffs. Look at Matt Stafford. 0-3 in Detroit. 4-0 in Rams with the Rams. It's the way it goes sometimes, guys. Sometimes you're in a better situation. Sometimes your team's better. And then you can win more. Because you're only going to have a winning record in the playoffs if you make it to the Super Bowl. Think about it. Everyone, look at Steelers' record. They suck in the playoffs. Of course they suck in the playoffs. They haven't made the Super Bowl in a while. You make it to the AFC Championship game, you make it to the Super Bowl, you at least have a winning record that season. Otherwise, you're going to be a 1-1 or 0-1. That's the only way you can go if you don't make it to the championship games. It's the dumbest stat ever. It's the dumbest arguments ever when I talk to people about, playoff stats. Look at how long it's been since the Steelers have won a game. Yeah, because they lost in those playoffs. That's just the way it is. Do you think they were winning the Super Bowl those years? I didn't. 2017, yeah. we had a chance. They correctly ruled that fumble or that catch by the outlaw, Jesse James. Correctly ruled that a touchdown. We're the 1 seed. Everybody's playing in Pittsburgh. And then we don't have to play Jacksonville week 1. So it would have been much different. And New England would have been on the road the entire time. So interesting stuff to think about. Instead, they got the Super Bowl that year. Next question, Michael Hall. What? Hayward, Bush, Wagner maybe? Minka, Matt. Oh, you got me when you say Matthew. Oh, I love that guy. UG3, Spillane, Witherspoon, Sutton, Hayden maybe? And Tuitt maybe? All in our defensive. Rip to the entire NFL teams in the way. Alu as well. That's a guy, that's an unsung guy we haven't thought about. And honestly, I think we're going to draft a nose tackle this year. We're going to pick one up. I don't know how high. I don't know if we're going to go as high as the 3rd round, but we're definitely drafting a nose tackle higher than the last 3 picks in the draft, like we have been for some of these lower guys like Davis. That other guy that we picked up, Raymond something from Alabama, and ended up dumping him pretty soon afterward when his coach left. Yeah, I think this is going to be it. That's going to be fun to watch. Michael, I'm doing too much. In my last comment, I'm just excited as hell for the season and the draft. Yeah, I'll tell you the truth. I was not excited at all last year. I was so down in the dumps until the draft. The draft is what got me back excited for football because of the way we drafted all offensive players in the first 4 picks. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Commitment, trying to win with Ben, loved it. Absolutely loved it. And we hit on all of our picks. Even the one that got away. Oh, the one that got away. Oh, Roche, the one that got away. Oh, Steeler Nation. Oh, the one that got away. Yeah, we hit on all of our picks last year, every single one. So it'll be interesting to see how the draft is going to be, because I'm already excited for free agency because we have money. We never have money in free agency. We have money. And it's because we don't have a franchise quarterback. That's how you have money in free agency. That's why we're always looking around. Why does Jacksonville have like $40 million? Why does Cleveland always have like $50 million? Why does Cincinnati have like $40 million? It's because they don't have a quarterback. Now we don't have a quarterback. So we have like $40 million this year. So fill it up with good players. Make the whole team better. Give the quarterback an easier job. So like a guy like Ryan Tannehill on our team can get us the 1 seed in the AFC. Could happen. It could happen, especially since we're only playing 1 team in the AFC West in the regular season. All for it. All for it. And who is that? That would be the number 2 team, right? In the AFC West. So that would be the Raiders. We play the Raiders. We play the Raiders this year, who arguably now has the worst quarterback in the division. Still a good quarterback and one that can usually consistently beat us, but still the worst quarterback in the division. And if we have all of our defensive complement, that team wasn't beating us last year. I will tell you that. Any more questions, Steeler Nation? Now is your time to come in. This is our last segment here in the last 10 minutes. And one other person I've got to talk about. Alejandro Villenueva retires from the NFL. Godspeed to you, my friend. Thank you for your service, not only in the league, but for your nation. Former Army Ranger, former wide receiver for Army in football, turned into a defensive end in Philadelphia before Munchak molded that lump of clay into a Pro Bowl left tackle in the NFL. That's value. If we got a left tackle, which is one of the most expensive spots in the NFL for a right-handed quarterback, we got him for nothing. Or nothing. Undrafted, rookie free agent. And we changed him from a defensive player into an offensive player. Awesome to hear. Plus, thank you very much for when you retired, sir, because you stuck the Ravens with $3.25 million in dead cap. Boom! Thank you, sir. One more parting shot on the way out. That is how I can support you again and not call you a traitor for going to Baltimore, because you stuck them with some dead money. So they got to hang that on their salary cap for this season, and we'll have to see how that goes. Anybody else? Oh, here you go. Michael Hall, speaking of the NFL draft, Mel Kiper gave us a C+ as the grade. Shake my head now. Mel Kiper is a douche. Mel Kiper is a Baltimore douche, by the way. I remember when I was reading articles by Mel Kiper when I was in high school, because when we had papers and he couldn't be on TV, writing his articles about football. I wish my Baltimore team had a football team. We don't have a football team because the Colts suck and they hate us and they left in the middle of the night and I hate Baltimore because of it. But now that we have the Ravens, I still hate the team. I'm not, we won a Super Bowl. They're awesome. They're awesome. Every other team sucks. That is Mel Kiper. That is Mel Kiper. Mel Kiper with the hair. Mel Kiper. But of course he's going to give us a C+. Why? We didn't pick the guys he wanted us to pick. Watch his list. Like, if you pick closest to what he says as the highest value, that's how you get the highest draft. And that's his opinion. He's not always right. He's rarely right. Plus, we took a running back in the first round, which is a Mel Kiper no. You never take a running back in the first round. That is dumb. You can't win Super Bowls with a running back in the first round. You never do that. That is a waste of a pick. The Steelers are dumb. The Jacksonville pick in ETN, that is dumb. Nobody should ever do that. What do we have? We have a Pro Bowl running back who had the most touches last year of any player, didn't fumble once. Mel Kiper. Eat it. I'm fine with that. Plus, took my favorite player in the second round. The best talent in the second round. The best talent at all around tight end to fall. Usually those guys don't fall out of the first round. He fell to the bottom of the second round. We picked him up there with Freiermuth. Guy's going to be getting better and better each year. He's short-handed as hell. And man, have we been looking for 6 years to try to find that replacement for Heath Miller. Oh, it's easy. You can do it free agency. No, we couldn't. We screwed up like 3 times trying to bring guys in free agency. One guy had a concussion and never played. One guy kept getting hurt. Vince was kind of good for a bit, but he wasn't the guy. He's no Heath Miller. Had one great 90-yard play where he stiff-armed some dude out of his ACL, but other than that, that was it. That was Vince McDonald, Vance McDonald. That was his career. Best guy we ever had. Ebron, I don't know how the tight end has bad hands. Usually tight ends have the best hand mechanics on the team. He had horrible hand mechanics. Absolutely horrible hand mechanics. And I was happy he was gone. He would have been a difference maker, though, Pittsburgh Steelers, if Ebron was healthy at the end of the season, because as soon as we lost Juju Smith-Schuster, he started to become our slot receiver, our big slot, just like Juju was. Though the guy couldn't block anything. Guy that big, not being a willing blocker at all, I'm happy he's on his way. The guy was not a Steeler. He just wasn't. I mean, it seems like every time we try to fix it with a tight end and free agency, it blows up in our face. Jay Ramiersma, when we brought him in, that guy was a monster in Buffalo. He sucked for us. He had one decent year, and he sucked for us. Yeah, it's like we just couldn't fix ourselves in free agent. Gronk! I'm all for picking up Gronk this year. Let's talk about Gronk. There's a receiving option for slot that I would pick up and bring in a heartbeat. Screw slot receiver. Bring Gronk in. Have him play slot. Guy can block too. He's at least a willing blocker. Problem is he's like a Fabergé egg. He's gonna miss 5 games. That's a problem with Gronk. But we'll see how it goes. Kiper is a jagoff of the highest degree. Michael Scott Joyner, all for you there. Michael Hall, thank you, Villenueva, for your service to the red, white, and blue, and to the black and gold. Enjoy your retirement. Well said. Well said, Michael Hall. I couldn't have said it better myself. Michael Hall, Mel Kiper looks like Pennywise with the big forehead. Hey, guys. It's Mel Kiper. We all float down here with all of our draft picks. That's my best Pennywise. Mighty Guru in the house. Love you, man. Love talking to you. I always love chatting at you at Steeler Nation. Guys, if you're not part of this already, go to SteelerNation.com. Be part of the football forum, man. I'm on there a lot. I post this cope. We're talking about changing my name over to Striker now because that's what Justin wants to do. But I'm fine with it. So just so you guys know who I am. But we chat a lot over there, and we are on the ball. Every move that happens in free agency, we always have somebody throwing it up immediately. We were Twitter before Twitter. That's how quick we are getting our stuff up over there. And we still do it that fast. Awesome conversation. It's free to join the conversation, and we have so much fun with each other. Come on over to Steeler Nation. Just check your ego at the door, and you don't always have to be right, and you'll have a blast. Younger Striker always had to be right. Always, I'll show him with all I got. Now it's like, I might not be right this time, but this is what I think. And I'll tell you what I think. And we have a lot of fun with that. So glad to have you here, Guru. And if you got any questions, obviously, man, you know. Yeah, last chance of questions too, guys, because I'm going to start doing my rundown. I will check back in on the comments section. So throw in your comments, throw in your questions. Here's last chance as I'm doing the rundown, because it is that time again, Steeler Nation. Please be sure to go over and visit our sponsors, Total Sports Enterprises, at their website, tseshop.com, standing for Total Sports Enterprises. Next vidcast will be next Thursday, the start of free agency, the 16th. Sorry, Wednesday. Wednesday's the start of free agency. Let me look at my calendar here quick. Holy crike. Wednesday the 16th. I think I had the date right. Wednesday the 16th, 7 p.m. This will be after all the motion happens. In the afternoon, all the big players are going to be running off the board. We will talk about it next Wednesday at 7. So bring your questions, bring your comments, bring your popcorn, because we're going to go over it hardcore next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. It's going to be a fun show. Check out great Steeler content over at SteelerNation.com. Guys, we are killing it. We're getting 1 million views, 1 million clicks a month now at Steeler Nation. We're having our articles going viral. Bill Wyshynski, another Steeler Nation member, FSF, over at posting and arguing all the time over there at the Steeler Nation discussion board in the football forum. He had an article on Dan Marino that went viral, over 100,000, 150,000 shares and clicks. So we are starting to kill it. We just picked up 5 new writers. This is the place to be. It's your bookmark. It's your one-stop shop now for Steeler news. SteelerNation.com. Click on it. Bookmark it. Always. For all your needs. Your vidcasts, your podcasts. We got other podcasts coming up. We're going to have a daily shot coming up soon here, too, with Colton Gesser. He's going to do a morning show. I'm probably going to be doing more of the quick inside slants over at Instagram TV, and might do a commentary piece daily in the afternoon to evening. Each day as well for little short hits for Steeler Nation. But we have the fun, guys. So be sure to subscribe to us over at YouTube to watch all these great shows as well. YouTube.com/Steeler Nation. Easiest thing to find. And be sure to follow us there. Always. Follow us on Instagram at SteelerNation.com. Follow podcast and tweet us at Steeler Nation. Follow the podcast on Twitter at _SN Podcast. Or over on YouTube, Steeler Nation Podcast. Or you can follow me, Steeler Nation Striker, at SN Striker on Twitter, on Instagram. Striker spelled with a Y. Now your last chances, guys. Mighty Guru, of course. Best football site on the net. And we were the early guys. We've known this for decades, that it's the best site on the internet, SteelerNation.com. Now you're starting to find out. Now old heads like Mighty Guru, FSF, and myself, we've known it for years. See you in the next live stream, Striker, and have a good one. Hashtag, here we go, Steelers. Hashtag Renegade. Hashtag Stairway to 7 with the 7 Lombardis. Parenthetically notated perfectly there, Michael Hall, so as not to upset the football gods for counting your chickens before they hatch. Love it, my friend, as always. And thank you, Steeler Nation, for joining us on the Steeler Nation Vidcast, sponsored by Total Sports Enterprises, part of the Big Play Network. And last shout out goes to Michael Hall. P.S. Love the beanie. Thank you. Got this in Cleveland, of all places. I used to be a Cleveland season ticket holder because I couldn't get Steeler season tickets back when Ben was a rookie. Somebody just made these embroidered Big Ben 7 hats, was selling them for like $10 a piece. I'm like, take my money. Take my money. And I've had it ever since. Ever since. Love this beanie. And I was trying to find it too for some of the shows, for the retirement shows, but it was lost for a while. Now I found it again. So I'm going to be wearing it Love me some Ben. Enjoy your retirement, my friend. Get on with your life's work. We love you. We can't wait to hear from you and all the great things you're going to be doing too coming down. So love it. Awesome. So I am your host, G.Stryker, rooting along with Mighty Guru, rooting along with Michael Hall, rooting along with Tony Laird. As always, go.